Okinawa was once sovereign Ryukyu kingdom for 450 years, during which a unique culture developed through trade and exchange with China and Southeast Asian countries. Japan annexed the kingdom as a prefecture of Japan in 1879.
So Ryukyu Kingdom has a very, that wonderful tradition of peace, to live with other, neighboring area through exchanges. And but as I told you, that was a very fierce battle because the Japanese Imperial Army's object in Okinawa was to engage in combat for the longest time possible. They don't want to finish it soon because to earn time for further defensive preparation on the home island. So Okinawa was sacrificed. And the army even forced civilians to kill themselves rather than surrender.
Every year on June 23rd, people gather around the cornerstone of peace, on which all victims' names from both sides of the conflict, including 14,000 Americans, are inscribed, regardless of their status as military personnel or civilians, their place of origin, or their nationality. Cenotaph? I know, I wrote that too. In the cornerstone, cornerstones are arranged in the shape of waves, sending out thoughts of peace from Okinawa to the world.
And since 3 years ago, Okinawa people started the project to read out all the names on the cornerstone of peace. It will take 3 weeks, and usually total nearly 4,000 people participated to read all the names. And thank that some of you here, we took the part in reading the American names, and some of you, joined us to help us. That was very, very, very important contribution. And then Japan's own sovereignty was restored in 1952. They got back independence, but Okinawa remained under U.S. occupation for 27 years until 1972. The U.S. military's land seizures during the occupation of Okinawa established the foundation for its network of military bases in Asia and the Pacific. They used these bases in Okinawa to launch attacks on other Asian countries in both the Korean and the Vietnam Wars.
Although Okinawa constitutes only 0.6% of Japan's total land mass, it hosts more than 70% of the U.S. Army's facilities in the country. Despite decades of protest and a vocal anti-base movement, the people's will continue to be ignored.
And worse, despite the pacifist constitution established following the defeat of Imperial Japan, Japan has loosened its self-imposed military restraints in recent years, reflecting the tension between the US and China. The Japanese cabinet substantially beefed up the nation's defense capability. centering on Okinawa and its outlying islands. The Japan Self-Defense Forces have established missile bases one after the other on the islands of Okinawa. Joint military exercises by the US and Japan have intensified. The people of Okinawa are frightened at the possibility that the islands and the surrounding the Asian area will become a battlefield again. And we have this photo of Setsuko-san. She is I think 87-year-old woman living in Ishigaki. She lost her mother, brother, sister, and grandfather during the war. And she had hoped the end of the war would mark a new era of peace and prosperity. And for decades it did. But now it's changing. She said, if we have a base, a missile base, that will be the first object that enemies would aim for. I think everyone has a sense of danger that it will become a target. And she said, we feel powerless, helpless. She feels so desperate, but she's very, very, very active for peace, even though she's very old. And she and she said, I want that war to not happen again. Never, never, never again. That's their hope.
As we have seen everywhere, once a war starts, it's extremely difficult to end it. Contingency strategies heighten tension and the risk of aggressive conflicts. Removing military bases is the first step to stopping war.
Okinawa Memorial Day is the day to mourn those who lost their lives and to vow to create a world without war. So, Nuchiru Takara, all life is precious. The core of the Okinawan soul is still relevant. Indeed, even more so today.
No more precious lives must be lost.
No more taxpayers' money must be funneled into war. Together.
No more environmental destruction. No more colonization. No more discrimination against indigenous peoples. Thank you.
So the first speaker is Mariko Middleton. She will introduce herself, but she will come with this and she will talk a little bit and we'll pray together for the assistance.
Thank you so much, Hideko-san. So, hello, hi tayo, wanme Mariko yaibing, Bahamonto kara chabitan, Yutasarugutu, Nige Sabira. Hi everyone, my name is Mariko Middleton. I'm a second generation American Okinawan. I am from Vermont. My father is from Vermont. My mother is from Nanjoshi, specifically Sashiki Village. I'm very honored to be here today on Lenape land. I think it's very important to acknowledge the indigenous peoples whose land we currently occupy. It is unceded territory, and I feel as a guest, as diasporic Okinawan, I also want to honor those people who are fighting for their struggles everywhere. Yes, and thank you to to Hideko-san and the Stand with Okinawa group for putting this on together. And I also want to thank Tokio-san as well as Teiko-san from the New York Kenjinkai, OANI, Okinawan American New York Kenjinkai. Please look into them. They are wonderful. It is them that brought me together with Hideko-san that led to this moment. So I would like to open with a brief prayer in English and then in Uchinaguchi. And so I invite you all to take three deep breaths, just to put your feet on the ground and feel the earth and feel the sky above you, and acknowledge that the land that we stand on, this busy New York City, belonged to an indigenous peoples at one time. Just like Okinawa as well. So let's, if you would like, close your eyes and just breathe in the lungs. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale, one final breath. Dear Goddess, dear God, dear spirits of this land, dear ancestors, dear beings, thank you so much for allowing us to be here this day. We ask for your blessing, your guidance, your inspiration, and your protection on this gathering where we commemorate Irei no Hi, or Okinawan Memorial Day, where we come together to honor those lives that were lost, civilians and military folks alike, the innocent lives that had to perish. We honor those that have passed. We honor those who still are here, that survived, that hold the pain in their blood and their beings. We remember and honor so that we may not repeat the mistakes of the past. And so I have brought today Okinawan Binshi. It is a traveling prayer box. I am still new to reclaiming my traditions, my cultural traditions. Being diasporic, I actually don't have a lot of folks that are aware of what this is. So it's a traveling prayer box. It has rice, it has salt from Itomanshi. We have Uchikabi, as well as Hiroko, which is money for the afterlife. And then Hiroko is our incense that carries our prayers through smoke up to our ancestors. So I will begin in Uchinaguchi. Sari utoto atoto, ukami uyahafuchi unige sebira. I come to you as daughter of Hiromi, daughter of Kiroku, son of Kirin, son of Kita, son of Kiryu, son of Kicho, son of Kichu, son of Kite, son of Kiko, son of Kunamizu, son of Oeshi, descendant of Okuma Ufuya. So Chuya, Irei no Hidebi. Nishi no Ukami, Ganashi. Te no Ukami, Ganashi. Agai no Ukami, Ganashi. Iri no Ukami, Ganashi. No mental chakuku, shirigwa Hidebiru. Ukami Ganashi, Uyafa Fuji Ganashi. Mimanti Misori. Sari utoto atoto. And I'll just say a few little reflections of my own. As a mixed-race second-generation child of a military father and an Okinawan mother, it is my deepest prayer that we end all wars. We cultivate peace and healing within our hearts and our minds and our beings. May we do this to honor our ancestors and to be good ancestors ourselves for all the earth and her beings. To those who perished during the battle, and to those who survived and carry the pain in their bodies, spirits, blood, and lineage, we remember you, and we wish you ease and peace. May there be peace throughout the whole world. Nuchiru Takara. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mariko-san. It was so special to have her here. And I got a message from a family of the war dead in Okinawa very late last night. And that he wants to share his words with you. So I'm reading. Ama oma okama The remains of the war dead, including many babies, have been battered by the torrential rains at the end of the rainy season and at times in the cold winter soil mixed with Ryukyu limestone, waiting to meet their families until today. There is a plan to use the earth that is mixed with the remains of those who died in the Battle of Okinawa for the construction of a new base at Henoko. It is no exaggeration to say that this is a crime against not only the people of Okinawa Prefecture, but also the bereaved families from Korea and Taiwan. The remains belong to the bereaved families, never to the Japanese government. In 2016, a law was enacted to promote the collection of the remains of the war dead, and the law clearly states that the Japanese government is responsible for returning the remains to the bereaved families. The remains of my mother's side of the family are also waiting patiently to be returned to their bereaved families. Despite all this, the Japanese government is now trying to dump them away like garbage. The number of innocent civilians who died in the Battle of Okinawa amounted to about half of all war dead. And it is said that there are remains of unclaimed U.S. soldiers from the Battle of Okinawa in the southern part of Okinawa Island. However, the Japanese government has never discussed collecting the remains of U.S. soldiers who died in the war with the U.S. government. It is also a contradiction for anyone to glorify the war dead of the Battle of Okinawa in Yasukuni Shrine and then use the remains of the war dead as a landfill for the construction of a military base. It is a contradiction by anyone's standard. Prime Minister Kishida had no right to come to Okinawa from the Memorial Day ceremony. Even 79 years after the war, there has been no movement to collect the remains of those who died in the Battle of Okinawa. Yet, on the other hand, Kishida, is deceiving Okinawans by saying that the government would safely evacuate the residents if a Taiwan contingency occurs. Evacuation, in other words, means becoming a refugee, as in the Gaza strips in the Middle East, which is utterly insane. How can a government that does not even actively collect human remains sincerely stand by its residents and evacuate them? Now, more and more Okinawans started thinking about exercising their right to self-determination, leaving the country of Japan, and restoring their nation and becoming independent. Kihei Maekawa, former Vice Minister of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, and Science and Technology, said in a speech in Okinawa, "If Okinawa decides to be independent, I will support it. We, the Ryukyu people, have the right to claim that." The UN General Assembly adopted the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples in September 2007. Japan approved it. Article 30 of the declaration states, "Military activities shall not take place in the land or territory of indigenous peoples unless justified by the relevant public interest or otherwise freely agreed with or requested by the indigenous peoples concerned." For these reasons, I, Masayuki Sokei, a member of the Ryukyu indigenous people, and a bereaved family member of the Battle of Okinawa, absolutely will not allow the many remains still left in the southern areas of Okinawa Island that are waiting to be returned to their families to be used for the construction of the new U.S. Henoko base. Bereaved families will never, never, never allow it. Thank you for listening. That's the message. Okay. Namie-san. Namie? No. Okay. She's a little shy, but you know, Namie-san is Bolivian, Okinawa, the third generation. Yeah, third generation. She just happened to visit here, and she, came to join us. Thank you so much. Okay, so the music time. Music time.
Just to keep you in the sun a little bit longer. Is this going to be an Okinawa song?
何の曲？あ？
First or the second?
First means what?
New or the old?
during a bombing or an invasion. War is personal. It was the war in which my father, an American Marine, was killed on the island of Guam. It was a war I've lived my whole life. I never knew him except through pictures and letters and others' memories. It was a war that destroyed my mother and her hopes and dreams and future. We were just one family of one dead soldier. When I watch the news and hear about the casualties of armed fighting, of war, of people of all nationalities, I feel this deep sense of loss for that person, for that family, that child who lost a mother or father or a sister or a brother. We Americans leave our trail of destruction all over the world. Our corporate greed, our economic imperialism, the militarism of the United States economy knows no bounds. And you all who are walking from store to store on Fifth Avenue are contributing to it because you don't stop and listen to us who talk to you about war and what it does. You need to listen. The next time, folks, they're coming for you. We know that war and militarism are destroying the planet. United States forces occupied Okinawa for 27 years until 1972, when it, quote, returned Okinawa to Japan, promising to make it a peaceful island. Returned Okinawa to Japan, returned a people and a culture that rightfully should never have been ruled by Japan. So let me draw the connection to Gaza. The genocide in Gaza continues with the history of Israeli occupation, dispossession, and displacement of the Palestinian people to the Nakba in 1948. The state of Israel was built on the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. Okinawans also face the brutality of settler violence. From the Japanese annexation of the Ryukyu Kingdom in 1879. Today, Okinawa Prefecture contains the largest number of U.S. bases in the world. Stop and listen to us, folks. We're talking about your future, the future of this country, the war that we're perpetrating all over the world. Stop and listen to us. About 80,000 U.S. troops are stationed in Japan. Since 1960, the U.S. and Japan have maintained an agreement that allows the U.S. to secretly bring nuclear weapons into Japanese ports. Although Okinawa Prefecture comprises just 0.6% of Japan's total landmass, it contains 70% of United States bases that are considered to be stationed in Japan. 2/3 of U.S. bases in Japan are on Okinawa, which is less than 1% of the country's land. There are about 50,000 U.S. military troops, an additional 40,000 dependents, and 6,000 American civilians. And for all of you walking by, think about what Congress is doing. They will reinstitute the draft, and you and your children will be vulnerable to the draft and possibly sent overseas and sent to harm and kill people in another country. In January 2023, the United States and Japan agreed to increase the number of American troops in Okinawa. Kadena Air Force Base, which is the largest and causes the most destruction. Kadena Air Force Base is located in the center of a heavily populated area. Think New York Public Library as an Air Force base, leaving the entire population of Kadena subject to the loud noises from the aircraft, to potential aircraft bombing, dropping, harming civilians. It's near children's schools. Think of it, an Air Force base where the New York Public Library is, and how that would impact your lives Think about it and do something and join us. It's been called the Fukushima Marine Air Station on Okinawa has been called the most dangerous air station in the world due to its location in the crowded city of Ginawan. 3,000 people live around it. 3,000 people. Just think about 3,000 people around the New York Public Library. In Gaza, Israel has continued its genocidal war on the people, on the children, on all living things, unabated with U.S. supplied weapons, revealing the extraordinary network of the U.S. military war machine that connects settler, colonial, and military violence on two occupied lands, Okinawa and Palestine. The U.S. uses its network of military bases worldwide, over 150, to store its weapons and aircraft, including at the Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa. Oh my goodness. So again, for all of you who are walking by, stop and listen to us about what this country, what the United States military is doing all over the world. If there were an emergency, those ambulances couldn't get near the public library. And think of the public library as a military base in the middle of New York City. How would you then feel about what is going on with the government and with the military? Plans are to relocate the Okinawa Bay, right? There's an attempt to move it to Yanbaru Forest to destroy the ecology. So not only are we taking over Okinawa, and do we have a military base in the middle of the city, but we now are reaching out to destroy the ecology around Okinawa. Do we accept that?
No!
So we need more people to come and listen to us. Today I stand before you, an American veteran, the daughter of an American Marine killed in the battle for the Pacific in 1944, to commemorate all those who were killed in this last battle of the Pacific War. 100,000 Okinawans, civilians, 1/4 of the population, 100,000 Japanese troops, 12,000 American soldiers. We gather together in memory of the Battle of Okinawa in World War II, June 23rd, 1945, to remember those lost in war and pray for peace. Today, we, Okinawans, Japanese, and Americans, come together to heal the wounds of war, to walk side by side, hand in hand for peace, to vow that we will not be silent. We will struggle together for peace and justice in the world. From Okinawa to Palestine, we demand a ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. End occupation, militarism, colonialism now. Stand with us. And as Veterans for Peace, we say, no more war, no more war, no more war. And believe me, folks, all of you walking by on Fifth Avenue, it will come here. And then maybe you will have listened to us when we say, no more war. Thank you.
No more war.
Thank you so much, Susan. heartfelt feeling, and connecting everybody's wish for peace to the people's wish in Okinawan people wish over there too. We have to work hard to stop the war anywhere, I think so. And now we are asked present Filthy Rotten System Band of Catholic Worker, and this is but yeah, I do. But who are you? Anthony?
Yes.
Anthony Paul, and make his sort of okay, so
Don't worry, we're
we'll
gonna
start.
do this under an hour.
We're going to play a real fast song so we can get more talking. I had a hammer in the morning. All over this land. I'd hammer out I'd hammer out a wall. I'd hammer out
My brothers and my sisters all over this land. You gotta dance.
If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning. I'd ring it in the evening. All over this land. I'd bring out danger. I'd bring out warning. I'd bring out love between
My brothers and my sisters all over this land.
If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning. I'd sing it in the evening. All over this land, we'd sing out danger. We'd sing out warning. We'd sing out love between our brothers and our sisters all over this land. Guess what? I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Justice, it's the bell of freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
Okay. Thank you so much. So now I will ask Debra Sweet to make her speech.
very brief because it's hot. It's hot and it's a very, very important day. I want to highlight, this is Okinawan Memorial Day. This is a day most people living in this country have no idea about. Most people living in this country do not know the history that Hideko and you related. It is a mystery to them. It's hidden in history, and we're here to bring it out and say this should never, ever happen again. I know a little bit about this personally because my father was drafted into the U.S. military in 1943. He was taught German in order to interrogate German prisoners, but somehow when he was shipped out, it was to the Battle of Okinawa to be an intelligence sergeant. He didn't know anything about Asia, Okinawa, the people or the customs. But at least he was the type of person who wanted to learn. And many years later, he wrote in his memoir that the moment he became a pacifist was watching the American military kill Okinawans who were doing nothing but sitting on the tarmac of the airport looking for a place to exist. This is what he said. They were just looking for a place to exist. This is when I became a pacifist. And he raised his children in the same way. I am glad to be here with people of my generation, like Susan and others, who have stood up largely because of what we saw in Vietnam. And we said, no, never again can this be done by people in our name. But guess what? It continues to be done. I appreciate Susan talking about Gaza and Israel and Palestine. I would draw a different parallel, complementary but different with her parallel. Okinawa is of great strategic interest to the big powers, to the imperialist powers, to the United States, and to China, the very same way Israel is. The U.S. needs Israel as a loyal force to control the Middle East, and I do not believe the U.S. is going to back off of this slaughter of people in Palestine, Gaza, and the West Bank without great continuing protest coming from in this country. We carry the people of Okinawa and all the other countries that have been slaughtered, and I'm talking about literally slaughtered by the U.S. military. This is something we have to be firmly aware of and against and take a very different stand. And I think we also have to realize that it's not just a colonizing thing. I know people are into stopping colonization these days, and there shouldn't be colonies, but we have an overriding worldwide system of imperialism, of capitalism exploiting everywhere, not stopping to destroy part or whole peoples. And this is the story that Okinawa has to tell us. A people who were literally among the most peaceful, unarmed, successful, cooperative societies in the world, destroyed by successive colonization, by Japan, by the US, by Japan again. And don't think China doesn't also have its eyes on the beautiful country of Okinawa because of the US bases, yes, but because it's in a strategic position close to Taiwan. My revolutionary leader, I really to Baba Vaki and says, look, we can no longer allow these imperialists to dominate the world and determine the destiny of humanity. It's the people of all societies and all countries who have to come together and say no and take action to stop these successive genocides. And really more than that, we have to change the whole system so that we could have a society that cares for people, number one, and the planet. I am very honored to be asked to be here by my sister Hideko and to meet all of you. And we will march forward together for a new society and a system that does not do this again to any people anywhere. Thank you.
Way to go, Debra. Way to go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Grannies made a special song, Okinawa song for us, and they will play for us.
Oh, no, let Nancy hold it. This is going to sing. Hold it. But you haven't practiced with it.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
This will be interesting.
yeah.
All right.
But Nancy, we're gonna put Nancy in.
Alice? This was written by Alice Sutter. Sing along with us. Why are we silent while so many die? Why are we silent while so many die? Why are we silent while so many die? No bases, no bombing, no more. No bases, no bombing, no more. Why build that base in Hanoka Bay? Coral reefs and seagrass torn away. Life destroyed, dugongs can't play. No bases, no bombing, no more. No bases, no bombing, no more. In Okinawa, people cry out for peace. Their memorial grieves soldiers, U.S. and Japanese. Okinawan civilians, losses beyond belief. No bases,
No bombing, no more. No bases, no bombing, no more.
Thank you. This was written by Corinne Willinger and me and Sunny and Susan. But a little bit. Okay. We have military bases at home and all around. In Old Peru and Timbuktu, wherever there is ground. In over 80 countries, and in every case, what do they give us? Another base. There is nothing like a base, nothing in this world. And we have them every place. We will soon have them up in space. In over 80 countries, on every continent. On the land we occupy, their people don't consent. In Turkey and the Philippines and Okinawa too. Whatever we do there, we must undo. Sing with us. There is nothing like a base, nothing in this world. And we have them every place. We will soon have them up in space. 797 foreign bases plus. We dominate these countries. countries, they fear and don't want us. Let the U.S. people know our bases we must yield. We only want our bases on a baseball field. There is nothing like a base, nothing in this world. And we have them every place. We will soon have them up in space. Thank you. Just another one by Alice and Martha and Judith. Okinawa people, you're strong. They're building a base in Hanoko Bay. Okinawa people say, no way. People are rising for justice. Okinawa people, you're strong. Okinawa people suffered many years of war. They stand so strong they won't take any more. People are rising for justice. Okinawa people, you're strong. Okinawa people, you're strong. Okinawa people, you're strong. People are rising for justice. Okinawa people, you're strong. Okinawa people protest day and night to make the government do what's right. People are rising for justice. Okinawa people, you're strong. Okinawa people protest in your canoe. We gotta learn to be just like you. People are rising for justice. Okinawa people, you're strong. Sing the chorus. Okinawa people, you're strong. Okinawa people, you're strong. People are rising for justice. Okinawa people, you're strong. For the Raging Grannies of New York City, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we're almost going to finish, and for a moment, we want to, have a moment of silence, everybody together, and then, we have some finale music and with some announcements. So, can you, so people, we're going to have moment of silence, please. Okay? Thank you. I will ring the bell, and for like one minute or so, we pray for everybody who had to lost their lives, and still we have to remember their lives. Everybody's life is precious, and we wish that no more any kind of this tragedy would happen again anyway. So I will ring the bell. Thank you. Thank you so much, and we will play the last music together. So musicians come together, and while they're setting up, we have some announcement. Abbie want to make some comment. For he was in Japan recently, and he want to share his thought.
I know we're running late, but I wanted to share some thoughts inspired what's said so far, in particular by the Raging Granny's verse that we see you protesting in a canoe. We have to be just like you in Okinawa. I think there's a lot of truth to that, because the whole world is very focused in the United States, including our protest movement. And especially lately, we have a lot to be proud of, but we have shortcomings too. And what I think is so special about this event is it is really us learning from the Okinawan struggle. Before I knew anyone here, before I knew Hideko, I ran into one of these events in Grand Central Station, which was extremely creative of kind of people silently holding pictures of the aqua life and the nature in Okinawa to try to wake people up about what's going on. And so as Hideko mentioned, this past fall I was traveling very briefly through Japan, and in Shinjuku Station, a major metro station in Japan, I saw a very vibrant protest for Okinawa with dozens of people, including dance, song, art, people emotionally speaking the Okinawan language. And it really woke me up about what's possible here. So I just want to emphasize and echo that comment. We have to learn from Okinawa. As Debra mentioned too, Okinawa is geopolitically situated in the midst of these competing imperialist powers. They're in an extremely tough situation, and they understand that they're caught between the United States and between China too. Some of us in the United States think it's too much to think beyond the United States, that's all we can think of, but I think we do need to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time and realize the brutality of this world right now. And the reality is, was said in the 60s in China, for instance, that countries demand freedom, peoples demand liberation, and the people demand revolution in the end. That we can think through all these things, and the people of Okinawa, against the odds, against a huge commercial culture in the larger region. In Shinjuku Station, people were walking by, but people nonetheless are coming together, organizing creatively in an inspiring way that we should continue to learn from, and I hope we can continue to help Hideko and others with these events and educational opportunities. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abbie. It's really, really a wonderful news to know. Okay, and we have some announcement, that related to Okinawa, which will be coming very soon. So, Naomi-san, you talk about it.
Hi, there's a very interesting gathering between from Okinawa people and the Native Americans in America. The gathering will be June 26th, Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. There are 4 people, I believe, are from Okinawa, including the director of the Karate Museum and the Mr. Soke, who made a comment that Hideko read about the ashes that the Japanese government are using the land, that including the ashes. So please come over, and then the location in Midtown, American Indian Community House, 275 Madison Avenue, Suite 2014.
Okay, sounds really interesting, so show up if you can. And there's another announcement. This is not directly connected to Okinawa, but come here. Yamaki-san will have some film screening, very special one, very soon. So share the information, please.
This is upcoming film screening on
Upside down. Upside down. Your sign is upside down.
No, it's
No, the sign is okay.
nice.
Sign is upside down.
But she's
no.
right hand.
No, it's not upside down. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So this is about anti-nuke film created by Japanese filmmaker. It's about downwinders, actually. You know downwinders? It's like an American version of Hibakusha. And this is the first time screening in New York City to the public, and it's called Silent Fallout. So everybody is Hibakusha, not just Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Fukushima, Chernobyl. Everywhere we are contaminated by fallout. Anyway, so please, if you're interested in, come to me and I will give you more flyers. Okay, I didn't say it. July 19th in West Harrison in upstate, and July 20th on 15th Street in Village, near Village. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And this will be the the last song we're all together. And this is called Warabigami, that Okinawa song, which the singing that how precious with babies. They're really like like a beautiful in the sunshine, and almost like a deity. It's really precious life, so we think that right now so many babies, so many young children have been killed and suffering. So we really want to sing this song for those people. Thank you. this is the end of the event. So I asked, that Philippine system to, play some finale music.